how did you originally get introduced into the hobby?
Oh yeah, so the hobby, so jump wax era. I jumped in. I was 87, 88. A kid, just like these young kids right now that are, jumped into the hobby during the pandemic. It was that same kind of vibe during the jump wax era, and so man, I took every dollar I had, every bit of allowance, any chores I could do was buying packs and boxes of cards. They're all worthless now, but it was fun.
We learned. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's and then I stayed. Obviously, I still old school collected through the years. Just buying a box a year. So even as an adult, I would still buy a box here or there, but I didn't new school collect. When I say new school, I mean like grading and flipping and doing all the things we all do now, or a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. So, but I did, and I was luckily, I did buy boxes throughout all the years. So I had, pretty good rookie. I had all the rookies of, KD, Steph, all just about everybody, just from buying a box or two here and there each year.
That's a very good strategy. I know I got mixed up in, going to school. Tim Duncan came out. Being in school, Garnett came out. Kobe came out. I was in college. Like these are all years that I kind of took time off collecting. Luckily, to
that point, I missed Kobe. I missed Kobe and Tim Duncan. I was how old are you, FD?
47.
47. I'm 43. So I was right around that age. I was high school, just kind of disconnected. I wasn't buying then. Yeah.
Yeah, but and it's kind of cool now that you get a chance to go back and try to get some stuff that you never thought you would have in the past, or something that got by you. I'll still never understand why people know how much I love Tim Duncan, why his market isn't great unless you got some really rare stuff. I'm always shocked at that.
Yeah. Yeah, and similar, cards that Kobe sells for, 510x Tim Duncan. There's quite a few players like that are just way undervalued, in terms of even like I know one of the questions we might be talking about some NBA, players and stuff, and I looked up that the 75th, the top 75 that the NBA put out, and Duncan is right up there in the top 20.
Oh yeah, 5 rings. It's not like people may say, "Oh, I can understand Vince Carter's not worth a lot. He didn't win a championship." Tim won 5. Even if he won one on the shortened season. He won 4. Quiet guy.
Actually, I think he's top 15 in that, wasn't he? He's like, yeah. I mean, most people consider him the best power forward, ever. Yeah, so sorry, he was 9. He was 9 on the list. Sorry.
Yeah. This is a very quiet guy. A guy who didn't like press conferences talking to people. Maybe that plays a role, but
yeah.
I think when you're that far, you get lost in the mix.
Right, and the team would pop and all that, it was a system kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. So we got Demetrius here I went to high school with. Demetrius says, "What's up, FD? Good to see the homie JMac on the show."
What's up, Demetrius?
Yeah, that's right. From the bench. Hey, boys, what's up from the bench? It's good to have you here.
Yeah.
Let's talk also. We talked about sports cars, but I know you have a channel where you talk about much more than sports cars. So tell us about some of your investment ideas, recommendations you've given in the past, or some stuff that you're high on, you think about, you talk about, you invest in.
Yeah. Well, so that's how I got on YouTube, why it was fairly easy to then transition. Actually, the funny thing is, I got another investing YouTube channel, and it's I mean, the whole investing landscape is just like the hobby, but stocks and stuff started falling both earlier, and so that one's it's almost dead. A lot of I actually went through and looked through a bunch of the investing channels that I have been connected with over the years, and a lot of them are dead right now.
You think is that because of the market? You think, or what do you think?
Yeah, because people are on. I mean, it's a lot like the hobby where people are only excited when stuff's going up, and
Sure.
So
but I get excited when things go down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing. But like, it just content doesn't catch
No,
in
you're
this
right.
kind of stuff. People don't watch stuff. Like if I did make a video saying, right now, and I have, and I'm like, now is the time to do research on companies, to do due diligence, to really dig in and find undervalued stuff. Same thing in the sports car hobby. All right, they're similar, but they're not. We'll talk about some of that later. But yeah, so but I guess my kind of claim to fame was my channel kind of grew in the investing community. I was covering a portion of stocks that no one else really was, and they're called SPACs. And so I used to have they were real hot for a while, for about a year, and I had gear and everything. I was the SPAC man, and I had a Pac-Man icon on it, and but there's special purpose acquisition companies. It's like a kind of a loophole to come public without for like private companies that aren't quite ready to go public. It's like a loophole. Okay. So I was interviewing all these CEOs of these companies that were coming public via a SPAC, and a couple of them there was some controversy. So where controversy sometimes I guess the way we think of controversy is a bad thing, but in the way content creation is, sometimes there's really no bad publicity. Bad pub can sometimes get you. It can have you grow. So we see
it make people want to watch something. Yeah,
we see it in the sports. We see the channels that do the controversial things are the ones that are really churning in the views. So I'm trying not to go that route with my channel, but if you want to stay relevant, you got to touch on some topics maybe that are a little bit controversial. But as far as investing, what I would say right now is exactly what I was just saying. I mean, there's some really good companies that are, and that's what I would, if I were to go back and do it all over again, because that side of stocks that I was looking at, or I would say they're similar to penny stocks. They're very risky. So I'm not going to name any of those company names because I don't want nobody looking into them. Yeah. Even though some might actually be 1,000x company, it's just very risky. So your blue chip companies, but the ones that are going to stay relevant, like Apple, Amazon's, the Tesla, the ones that are kind of disrupting the old guard, that are, and they're still, while they may seem like they're already pretty big, they can still grow. And what'll happen is, like in the old days, like AT&T, and some of the old telecom companies, they like a bunch of companies came out from under them. So you had these stock splits that were occurring, and you were getting these companies breaking off of AT&T. And so AT&T's been a very good stock, but if you held it for like 20 or 30 years, you had all of these other stocks that split off of it, and you became wealthy off of AT&T, even though it's not a great company or a great stock. It's just the dynamics of investing, yes. Sometimes allow for you to still do. It's just, there's a compounding effect and stuff that happens in investing that happens nowhere else.
So when you look at investment opportunities, well, I'm gonna tie this in the cards. In the card world, a lot of flipping goes on. There's short-term buys in stocks as well. How do you kind of determine what you hold longer compared to what you may hold shorter?
Yeah, well, it's almost because I had that mindset of kind of where I was in investing. When there's a bull run, I was just talking about this on my live stream the other night. When there's like a bull run, when the market's hot, then it's okay to prospect and do the things that we were seeing, like a lot of the channels that they made their living on that, the bread and butter on flipping, buying stuff, grading it, flipping, getting 2-3x. So same thing applied in investing. You could get penny stocks. It was okay to buy penny stocks, and you could see them, 10x, 20x. So you know, so anyway, I've had to also kind of reset here with the hobby and recalibrate, and now, you know, it's really like so longer term approach for me is you know, the Bradys, the Currys, the LeBrons, the so I'm not really doing much.
Yeah,
go ahead.
The legends of the game,
legends, and the proven, because I've almost completely cut out prospecting. Now, if a deal is just too good, let's say someone's like steal my cards, not literally, but
I know
you know what I mean. It's quite a few prospects, but they're giving them to me for pennies on the dollar, and they're just like, you know, I know I know I'm selling them for cheap. I just don't want them anymore. Here, take them. All right, I'll do that. You know, but me intentionally, I'm not prospecting anymore. You know what I mean? So that's the recalibration that's occurred for me over the past few months is just, and so that shows I'll set up and I'll be like, people come up and say, "Are you buying?" And then I say, "Well, I got a list on my table. You know, it's yes, yeah, I'm buying only Brady, the list. You know, Steph, just the list, and vintage. If you got vintage, I'll take a look at vintage and the list."
So you're not tapping into Herbert, Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Wilson, Hurts, none of these guys.
Sold every one of them I had. So I've sold every one. I ain't keeping not one of them. I had, last, I just consigned, I had like a gold Josh Allen, a nice silver Herbert. I just really released all of them in the last few weeks. So, yeah.
What took you down that path? Is it just because you think that stuff is too volatile for you?
It was like it was really a combination of a few events. One of them it's funny. I bought a small collection, and it was a collection from it was football, mostly football, a little bit of basketball, but it was from late 90s to like 2007 or 8, right? And there was a lot of chrome, there was a lot of refractors, there was a lot of cool stuff, you know, stuff. A lot of young people today that are getting in the hobby have never seen. Just amazing looking stuff. Here, I mean, I got a few that can kind of like. I mean, this is a Warwick Dunn. You know, he's a legend. It's a refractor. It's numbered to 500. That kind of stuff was in this collection. But the point is, I went through this collection and so I said, like I said, this topped out at about 07, 08, this collection, the players, and it was amazing how many of those rookies and prospects didn't work out. So on top of what had been going on, you know, Trey Lance going down, all these guys going down, young guys going down, and then getting that collection and saying, man, literally 95% of these guys are, you know, like this work done. If you pulled this, you know, a year ago in a product, you know, a top product like a Prism, I say this was a Prism to 500 and it was the top player, then, you know, I mean, I'd sell that for $50 or something. This is probably a $5 or less card right now. You know what I mean? And he's a good player. He's got like, I looked up his stats. He's got like 13,000 rushing yards.
Oh, he's a wonderful player. He's the most successful small back in probably NFL history. Yeah,
and his refractor to 500 is $5. So let that be a lesson to any young bucks watching. That here's another one. This is pretty crazy. The second greatest wide receiver of all time.
Yeah,
here's
that's number 2,500, and I have a card from that same year of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, and check it. This is about a $5 card. So, but this was like that was a low serial number back in the day, 2,500.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, that was an
these are the things that I think about once you've watched sports for a while, once you've collected for years, you see things. It's not brand new. I say this all the time. It is not like what you're talking about. You're talking about Warwick Dunn, probably one of the best running backs in NFL history. But today we talk about Alvin Kamara. We talk about Saquon Barkley. We talk about people like they're the first person to run the football.
Exactly. And I would say like if I were at a show and someone had like you know, a couple of these, even maybe like I think the gold refractors are the 50, and they had them for $20 or $30. I buy them all up because this is a proven guy. So yeah. I'd rather do that than go buy, you know, some quarterback or some you know, some receiver Justin Jefferson. They're all good. These guys they're probably going to be. There's a good chance one of them, 1, 2, 3 of them are going to be Hall of Famers. But this is like I said, Randy Moss is statistically the second best receiver ever to play the game.
Yes,
no rings, but stats say he's the second best, and his cards are $5 or so. Good cards, $5 to $10 you can get them for. So I'm not going to be spending hundreds of dollars on Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson right now when the floor on those guys is going to be there's a long way that they could go down. You know,
I respect that a lot.